This question belongs to compiler design subject and was asked in GATE CSE 1990. So the question states, match the pairs in the following questions. We have been given two lists, list 1 and list 2. List 1 contains pointer data type, activation record, repeat until and coercion. List 2 contains type conversion, dynamic data structure, recursion and non-deterministic loop. Let us see all of them one by one. So option A is pointer data type. So what is a pointer? Pointer is nothing, just it's a variable which is used to store an address. It will have its own address and it will store another address, and at that address we will have some data. Let us suppose 10 data is there. So this variable A is called a pointer variable which is used to store address of this variable B. So where is pointer data type used? Pointer data type is used in dynamic data structures. What are dynamic data structures? We can have static data structure or dynamic data structures. Static like array. Once we have created an array, we can't remove the number of blocks in array, and even we can't add the number of blocks. What is a dynamic data structure? Assume a stack. A stack implemented using list. We can add more items, we can remove the items. A linked list, it's a best example for dynamic data structure. We can add the nodes, we can define a structure, and then we can add the nodes by using this new operation command. So this is a dynamic data structure. We can also remove the nodes. A tree, we can add the nodes and we can also remove the nodes. And how are these links? A dynamic data structure is linked using a pointer. This is a pointer pointing to the address of this. This is a pointer pointing to address of this. And in the tree, this is a pointer pointing to address of this. Thus, pointer is related to dynamic data structure. Option Q. Let us see the second option. The second option is activation record. So what is an activation record? So an activation record is activation record. When we are executing a program, let us suppose we have a program P1. This has some main statement, main function, which calls function F1, then calls function F2, and then it ends. So we have a stack. This stack is present in the main memory. So whenever main is called, we will push main in this stack. Main will come over here. Then when F1 is called, F1 comes over here. When F2 is called, F2 comes over here. What is coming over here? The thing that is coming over here is activation record. An activation record of F1 is pushed. An activation record of F2 is pushed. An activation record of main is pushed. And what are the contents of activation record? These are the contents of activation record. So an activation record contains return value. What will this function F2 return? What will this function F1 return? Actual parameters, the parameters that are passed to this function. Control link and access link are used when we are having the scope problem. Saved machine status, the status of machine before calling and after calling the function. The local data of a function and the temporary variable stored. So these activation record is basically pushed in this function call stack for each function. This activation record is linked to recursion, because what is recursion? During recursion, what we are doing? During recursion also we are using a stack. And if we are having a recursive call, let us suppose F1 on X, and inside this we are calling F1 on X minus minus. Then what happens? First F1 will be pushed with X, and activation record of F1 with X will be pushed. Then F1 activation record, let us suppose X was 5. Then F1 with 5 will be pushed, then F1 with 4, F1 with 3, F1 with 2. So during recursion we are pushing the activation record of the same function. So activation record is related to recursion. Let us see the next option. So the next option is repeat until. So what is the meaning of repeat until is? Suppose we are having a loop. So whenever we are having a loop, we need to give the condition like when this loop will stop. Or when we are having a do while loop, let us suppose we have a do while loop, do while. So it will do something while this condition is true. And if we write a condition which will never happen, then we will have a non-deterministic loop. Thus, repeat until is related to non-deterministic loop. Now let us see the last option. The last option states coercion. So what is coercion? Coercion is related to type conversion. I will tell you how. So suppose we are in C program, we are writing int a equals to 10. Is it correct? Yes. Is it correct? It is correct. Now if we are writing a equals to 10.5 and then let us suppose b equals to 10.5 and then we are printing b. What will it print? It will print 10. What happens? It is a float, and it is accepting int. So float will be converted to int internally by the program, and it is called coercion. It is called implicit conversion. The conversion that is done by the compiler itself is called implicit conversion or coercion. Now if we write int c equals to round, it will give you an error as it is not an implicit conversion. And there are some conversions that we can do by specifying something like int a equals to, we want to convert to int the value 15.5. If we write this int over here to match with this int, then it is called explicit conversion or casting. But coercion is related to implicit conversion and is done by compiler. Thus coercion is related to type conversion or implicit type conversion. So the option matching is QRSP.